Good afternoon. Hello. It's Karen and
It's Chris.
Afternoon, about to say evening then. How you all doing this week? Are you well? Are you feeling kind of, how's the whole, how's the whole sort of getting back to life going for you? Hi Lorraine, we have noticed there've been a few quieter classes this week. I don't know, have you noticed that?
People are getting lazy.
Telling it like it is.
What it is everyone's so keen to get out and do stuff, which is good. But then we're in the habit changing business. It's important to notice that if you're not in the habit of regular exercise, it gets pushed out.
It's only the first week of it though.
Yeah,
you got to give people a little bit of slack.
We'll see. Now,
so, yes.
It's unusual circumstances, and I think for the first couple of weeks, everyone should just go crazy and just let their hair down. But then don't forget.
Just do the recordings.
Just don't forget, the laziness is still part of the problem.
If you haven't come to a class this week or missed one, just let us know when you've done the recording, because we want to check in on you and see how you are.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, I'm joking, but on a serious note, it's so important to reconnect with people, because I was seeing a client's dad, and he is 79 years young because younger than my parents, and he said, he really missed that social connection with his group that he goes to the gym with. So even though I was seeing him personally, he liked that. He said a massive part of the gym for him is seeing other people. So it's really important to get that connection back if you've missed that. So go for it, knock yourselves out, and then get back to it, because you've got to, we have some goals to hit. We've got to stay healthy and live long and prosper and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So welcome along if you're new to our lives. It's lovely to have you. If you're new to our lives, we tend to either argue with each other. That's a strong element of but we have discussions, don't we? Because we approach things from different angles. And also Chris tends to tell it like it is, whereas I fluff around the edges. So we will talk about kind of hard-hitting topics or what people are asking us about. And this week, given post Easter in the calendar, typically is where we tend to find it's quite busy. Actually, for us, May is usually quite busy. People coming back to the gym. This is obviously pre-COVID. People coming back to exercise. They're kind of right. Okay, the sun is shining. I'm not feeling like I want to in my flip-flops and t-shirt. So I need to do something about it before the summer holidays. So that tends to be a good reason for people kind of getting rid of the Christmas and winter layers of insulation, so we call them. So, but given what we do and where we stand in all of this, rather than saying how to get fit for summer, we want to say, right, okay, for 6 weeks, what are we going to do with it? And we write programs, whether that's in terms of when we program our classes, they're always progressing. We will look at who we have in the class and we will decide where we want to go with them, or sort of talk to our class participants and see how they're progressing, what some members might need help with. This all goes on probably without them knowing about it. And when we aim through that 6 week program. And the great thing actually about recorded classes now is that we know people can really carry on with those classes in their own time. So if they miss a week for whatever reason, like go and see friends, or I had a great one this week. I forgot the time I'm shopping, Karen, that was a good one. So that's what we do, whether it's one-to-one or with a group of clients. So we thought, let's help you write your 6 week programs. It's kind of like a mini workshop. We're workshopping it today.
Yes.
So how would you approach a program with a client, Chris? What kind of things would you want to know?
I want to know their starting point. I want to know roughly what their goals. And I often come at this from a perspective of what can that person not do that I think they could do in 6 to 8 weeks? Because the sense of achievement that you get from being able to complete something you couldn't do is what gets people hooked into how the body can adapt and improve. So it could be, for example, can they perform a good press up? And I know that's a contentious topic because people get triggered when they hear the word press up, because they were made to do them as a form of punishment, which is irritating when they're younger. It gives a bad perception of exercise. A press up is a really good exercise to do that most people can't do and should probably be doing. Or it could be a timed event, for example, if they want to get faster and do a 1 kilometre time, or a 2 kilometre or a 5 kilometre time. Trying to set some realistic expectations and some goals. And then a lot of that is it's managing expectations. Sometimes reining people in. I think most people need to be reined in than pushed for the first section, the first sort of six week program we're doing. Because most people think, right, I'm really into it, my motivation's sky high, I've allocated time and maybe funds to be able to do some things, so I'm going to go for it 100%. Well, actually we're better off going for 80% and keeping that 20% in reserve for the days where it's dark and it's grey, or the kids are off got a hectic lifestyle and schedule. So you want to make sure that don't go flat out first thing. That's the first thing I would do.
And actually, this isn't just about. Oh, hello, Tracy. This isn't just about, your 6 week kind of, I want to do push-up goals. So I saw a client today who's had a lot of health issues, lost a lot of weight, really lost her confidence. She doesn't even want to come to a Pilates class because she's nervous of it. So I spoke to her today and I said, okay, this is us. This is the next 6 weeks. And the first thing we were doing, we didn't even sniff at a squat. I was getting her to do balance work, standing on one leg. I was getting her to move. I was finding out what she could do that she wouldn't be nervous of, so that she could get moving, and then we'll revisit in 2 weeks, see whether she feels ready to increase the levels on her exercise, and then I'll see her another 2 weeks after that. And that is essentially a 6 week program, except I'm writing it for her by having a conversation with her. So the point I'm making is, I think people think of personal trainers, all they do is prescribe push-ups and squats and lunges. Actually, no, we don't.
That's the easy bit.
That is the easy bit.
I've said for years, and this is a common belief by many trainers in the industry, that you can. They always say, my nan could write a program for someone and make them feel that they're a good personal trainer. My nan, well, my grandma, my mum, the kid's grandma, is a very good trainer. But point being is that you don't need expertise to be able to make someone feel like they've done a hard workout, because you can do two things. You give them too much too soon that the body can't cope with, or you give them something completely new. And the day after, they'll be aching. The aching is not a sign that the workout has been effective, by the way, not at all. It's being able to progress each week, and then by week 6 to 8, you've peaked, and you can do more than you could week 1. That's the measure of the goal.
Yeah. So whether that for you is a cardiovascular goal, or the other kind of goal, which I always stress is really important here, is what we call a behavioural goal, which we were talking about last week with Jacqueline, which is not, I want to be able to do 8 push-ups, or, have lost this much body fat. This is, okay, I want to just, that one thing that's really bugging me that I know would be easy to shift in my life, hands up, sugar. I've got proper sugar going on at the moment because I'm not sleeping well, and I've had bad, and I won't go into it. So I'm just like caning the sugar. That for me would be, right, okay, I'm going to sort that out over the next 6 weeks. So that might be week 1. Okay, I'm going to, switch the sugar for a sugar substitute. And then the next week, okay, I'm going to quit the snacks. So they're little incremental goals that you can achieve. So I've got my book out, Chris, and I want to get started because this is about being practical. So if you've got a pencil and paper in front of you, and I want you to plot out, let me find a blank page. So today's date is the 21st. It is the Queen's birthday, in fact.
21st.
Happy birthday, HRH. So it's the 21st today. I know that 4 weeks from now is the 19th of May. Yeah. And 5 weeks from now is the 26th of May. Yeah. So 6 weeks from now is...
so it's 31, isn't it? So what's that?
No,
5, it's 2nd.
2nd. Is it? 2nd of June, we think. Yeah. Right, okay.
Yeah,
yes, it is. It is, because the 31st of May...
You see? Put me on the spot.
Today, Tracy. We start today.
Puts me on the spot, and fast math you out of the... Oh, are you sure? Yes, I am sure.
Right, okay.
June, Tracy White's June.
2nd of June. 2nd of June.
I said May's 31, so it's June. Yeah,
so 31st of May is a bank holiday. Yeah, it's the Monday bank holiday.
2nd of June, that's at Sheringham Golf Club.
Yeah, we're going to be in, hopefully, we're going to be in Norfolk. Yeah. So, hang on, I've lost my comments. Where'd they gone? They were at the back. So, so that's our end goal, 2nd of June, which for us happens to be a half term. Perfect 6 weeks from now, because that's pretty much a bank holiday, so you could kind of like knob it off at the end and be ready for the bank holiday. So let's take a goal, Christopher.
Well, my goal,
I want to just like hypothetical.
Okay, typical goal. Somebody they say, I want to be able to exercise regularly. So let's get rid of all the specific goals such as weight or speed or performance. Exercise regularly. Or most days between now and that 6 week.
Which is also the general, I want to feel fitter, isn't it? It's the kind of, I want to feel fitter, or I want to be able to label myself as a kind of active person, or at least more active than I am now.
Yeah.
Right.
So we would split that into 2 goals. One would be a behavioural goal, and one would be an exercise goal. And then we've got to break it down.
You don't have to wait for me to finish writing it down.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, well, I like the sound of...
You like the sound of my pencil?
Of lead rolling across a lined paper.
It's nice, isn't it?
Right, so we have 2. So let's go.
I know Tracy's got grids. I know that about Tracy. She's either got blank sheet or she's got grids.
So let's go for the behavioural goal now. So when you look at the behavioural goal, people often don't look at behavioural goals, by the way. This is probably the most important aspects. And the behavioural goal is you need 2 parts to it. It's what is your current behaviour and patterns, and what behaviours do you need for the next behaviours, for these behaviours to actually work and be in place. So first off, a behaviour pattern for you that may be taking you away from this goal could be you go to bed late. It could be snacking. It could be unhealthy habits such as using the car more than you need to. They're taking you away from that goal. And behaviours you want to bring into that is a direct like-for-like swap, such as using the car less. It could be reducing the snacking. It could be creating a healthier habit to replace for the less healthy habit. So it's about swapping around the behavioural goals before you start to get into the actual goal itself.
And this is your kind of for the first 10 days to 2 weeks, you want to be thinking, what's the easiest thing for me achieve? What is the easiest thing for me to achieve? Apparently talking isn't one of them. What's my quick win? That's what everyone does. And this, if we were to have a conversation with a client for the first time, it would always be the quick win. So that might be, okay, let's make sure that we walk to the school run every week. Yeah. That might be someone that commutes those days. You know, if you're commuting again, definitely walking home from the station, or if the pools are open and you used to do a swim before work or after work, can you just once a week get that one thing back in? And of course, I don't need to explain to you the benefits of this on a personal level. You know, giving yourself permission, something I posted about today, giving yourself permission to take that time to do that exercise. So before that even happens, oh, hello, that might mean having a conversation with someone that you live with, or someone that looks after the kids. Can they do a pick-up one day? So that gives you a slot, even if it's 30 minutes. That thing, maybe, I mean, especially now, this time, the way things have changed, the thing that you used to do, that you used to love, whether it was going to a yoga class with your friends, whether it was I've just got back into my cardio tennis classes with my friends, and I felt quite nervous allowing myself to do that. Just that's the first thing to do. What is your low-hanging fruit that you can achieve in the next 2 weeks? And that might be one thing a week, or it might be a smaller thing every day.
And just in case you're thinking that this is fluff and it means nothing, right? This is all part of the bigger picture, because it's all about momentum. If you start to pick off the low-hanging fruit one at a time, rather than trying to get a basket and sort of raid the fruit tree once, and you're dragging the fruit back to the front door. Enough of the metaphors. But the whole point is that you've got to layer goals and behaviours one at a time.
Because otherwise you'll just switch off.
If you overload yourself with too much too soon, when you really feel up for it, trust me, anyone can do most things they want when they feel up for it. The trouble happens when it hits the fan and you don't wake up and you think, nah, I'm not bothered today, because those unhealthy habits are going to drag you back to that starting point. So it's important that you layer them one at a time, you identify what those behavioural habits or goals are, and then you can start to execute them. This is the next step. So we've got the behavioural habits in place.
If you're watching live, and if you're feeling brave enough to pop in the comments what your one thing might be, please share with us.
Yeah.
If you're not watching live, pop the comment in below.
Yeah, so
we'd love to know, because I'm nosy, basically.
We're talking about behavioural goals first, so make sure you put in one which is taking you away from what you want to do now, and one which you want to have to replace
Explain that again.
So behavioural goal, you weren't listening.
I was listening.
You were watching her.
No.
She was watching her. A behavioural goal that you want to replace, that you want to bring in, and one that you want to replace it with.
Okay.
So that could be, our example could be, I want to walk more. Well, the habit I've got to have is I've got to use the car less. So I'm going to ditch the car and walk to wherever I can a lot more than I can, which means I've got to give myself more time to get to that place that I'm trying to get to.
Which incidentally, great for the environment. So if you need an extra motivator, just think about your green. The small journeys, they're the ones that increase those carbon emissions.
Yeah, but some people aren't.
Okay, all right, well I am. I just like an extra motivator. Right, yeah, so you've got your two...
But that's a very good point. That's a very good point.
Oh,
right?
thanks.
Yes, so Karen's put a very good point in there, which is even if you find that goal holds your feet to the fire, take it. Right?
Yeah.
We have one client and she's a self-righteous exerciser, right? And she loves training because it makes her feel better than other people. That's not a goal I would, advocate for most people to live in a harmonious society.
Are you thinking a bit smugstagram here?
Yes, many people do that. There we go, that's it.
Brilliant.
But what works for her is that it tricks her. It's like mental gymnastics. It tricks her out of what she would do to do a habit which would take away from her goal, and it brings her in. As long as she contains that smugness and doesn't start to make others feel bad, that's cool. But it's when it spills over into Insta fit and Facebook smug like posts.
Smugstagram.
Yeah.
Helen's just shared that. Helen James just shared that she's going to drink less coffee and replace with water or weak squash.
There we go.
I'm gonna be a bit picky here.
All right.
How much coffee do you drink, and how much less are you going to drink? So you need to kind of just make it a bit more specific.
Yeah, the goal. Well, the guidance we would give.
Are you going to disagree with me?
No, absolutely not. The guidance we would give about cutting down on caffeine so you don't go cold turkey is 50%. Some people often think go down to 0. It all depends. If you've been told by a doctor or a specialist or a nutritionist, then you have to. That's a different matter altogether. But to wean yourself off coffee, you only need to drop it down by 50%, and then your body goes back to what it's like when it didn't have coffee, and you only need a small amount to have the same effect. So overall, if people cycled that every 4 to 6 weeks to stop themselves getting on that train of I have 2 coffees, 3 coffees, 4 coffees, 6 coffees, double espresso.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
50%. Perfect.
That's it, yeah. There's no need to go any lower than that, unless you want to be someone who says, I want to have 0 coffee completely. But no, just having 3 is enough to wean yourself back down to that. And what will happen is the 3 will make you feel like you're having 6. Yeah. And people often don't understand that. We're at the whim to a certain degree of our nervous system and our hormones and our brain chemistry. And the brain loves what it likes. And if it loves the caffeine in the morning, that little hit, then it will get used to that. And after a while, it needs more and more and more. So
coffee is tricky, though, because coffee is habitual, isn't it? So it's the act of drinking a coffee at a certain time, doing a certain thing.
It can also be, like alcohol, a social lubricant as well. For a lot of people, they have a coffee with their friends, or it's on the way to work, or a commute, or the way back from school. Many different things it links into. But
we're digressing.
But that's the... I'm talking to Helen.
Okay, all right.
But that's the main thing about the habit. So yeah, great work, Helen.
So then, we've got the 2 weeks. What's really important now is we, at this point, decide what the next part of the programme is going to be. Because otherwise, it's 2 weeks done, and you're like, I'm done now. So, what are you going to do for 2 to 4 weeks, Chris?
Right, so the person who is wanting to exercise daily, it's all about now executing. This is about executing the plan. So
the first phase is low-hanging fruit, and the next phase is execution.
So the execution...
Dodgy words going on.
Executing the plan, I like to call this stage when your motivation runs out. Because it will, and as much as you want to feel you wake up in the morning and think, oh yeah, it's time to do some press-ups, no one wakes up like that. Well, not most people, do we? No, I never wake up like that. But most people, even those who exercise regularly, never wake up and think,
teenage boys,
it's time to knock out those press-ups. No, not at all. So the executing the plan is, again, twofold. It's one, what do you need to hold your feet to the fire? Could that be a class? Could that be a friend who you have to commit to, some kind of commitment?
Could it be new trainers?
Yes.
So you're going to say to yourself, right, if I do that first 2 weeks, I'm gonna save up and I'm gonna eat baked beans.
Yeah.
So I'm dropping my little shop down so I can spend on a nice new pair of leggings or a new pair of trainers or a cap. Sunglasses, something fancy. Sorry, that just let my motivations out there.
But is it financially motivated?
No, it's more about I like clothes.
Okay, all right. So that's the first side of it. The second side is, and this is where it's really important, is it must also be enjoyable. Now, there's a certain element to exercise which you've got to get on and do it. You do have to just get on with it and do it. There's no two ways about that.
Yes.
But it must be at least enjoyable, or part enjoyable, or part of it must feel as if you're looking forward to it. Because if you're dreading a session, no matter whether it's running, walking, or running in the rain, as Tracy loves to do so often, that you must feel at some part of it that you think, oh, I'm glad I did that, because otherwise you'll think, I'm never doing that again.
Do you know what? Really, I'm going to quote Eileen here, the lovely Eileen Mackey, who comes to my Wednesday morning class. And she always says to me, the best time of the week is 10:30 on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Why?
It's because when my class is finished.
Yeah.
And she's going to finish my class. She's going to finish my class and going to have a nice shower and have a cup of coffee and feel really smug for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So that in part is enjoyment, because we look forward now to that moment where we can all say, oh, it's 10:30 on a Wednesday, it's the best time of the week.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, I'm working out and I'm loving it.
No.
It could mean you could have a little thing. You think, right, at the end of this, I'm going to do this and that's going to feel great. And it is, when you feel really sticky and sweaty and you're like, oh, best shower ever.
I'll tell you a secret, and not many know this, so keep it to yourselves.
Are you going to divulge something personal, Chris?
I'm not talking about the thing, the shame that was not Forest Hill. Was it Broccoli Rise?
Oh,
That will never be
revealed.
revealed. So we write our book. My goodness me. Right. So secret now. Diary of Memoirs of a Personal Trainer. I've been training for 20 years. Been playing sport for nearly 30 years. I do not look forward to an exercise session. Not one. Apart
Not
from
even
one.
with me when we play tennis.
Yeah, not at the start. No, not to be honest. When I get going, yeah, I do. But what I enjoy, no, Tracy, no one will ever know about that.
Only I know.
But because what it is that my brain is often thinking to myself, oh, nah, just put your feet up, it's fine. But 5-10 minutes in, I know it's a process my brain goes through. I just had to ignore it. I had to ignore how I feel, because I know 10 minutes in, I feel absolutely much better.
It's like when you get to the third set and you're like, I don't really need to do this.
Yeah.
And you're like, nope, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. But I guess because I have bought into the benefits of exercise, I can talk myself out of it, and I've been through it so many times and rehearsed it.
Yeah.
I ignore that.
And it's a habit, isn't it? That's a habit in itself. Knowing that brain talk where you say to yourself, you know, I'm not going to go, I'm not going to go, I'm not going to go. Or I'm not going to do it. And then, do you know what? You just get out. And this is one of the benefits of exercising first thing in the morning before your brain has time to catch up.
Yeah.
But it is in the same way as, you know, whatever profession you're in, you will go through challenges, and you know, I've done that before. This is hard, but I know it will get better. And it's the same with an exercise program. It's just getting through that little barrier, isn't it?
And I feel this is where we have, I guess, through being older and expertise, that we're very honest about it. We don't come across, hopefully, as people who say, yeah, get your exercise shoes on and go out and run and feel great. Well, you know, from November through to March, April 2 weeks ago, I've got no desire to go outside this house because it's cold and it's dark and it's grey. That's just the way I feel in the winter. I need to be somewhere just 22 degrees from morning till night, and that keeps me motivated, so that's not going to happen anytime soon. But I at least know, because we've been through the process so many times, that 5-10 minutes in, I forget about the procrastination I had prior to that and the hesitation, and it's gone. And I'm thinking, God, I feel really good. And also, we have different workouts. We have an easier workout and a harder workout, which you look forward to. Some less, some less so. The rehab, I don't look forward to because it's dull, but I have to do it, otherwise my knee hurts. But all this that we have done, we understand where everyone is coming from their different points of view for motivation. So I totally get if someone comes to me and says, I want to exercise every single day, or I want to exercise more, but I hate exercise. I'm thinking, well, you don't have to try and tell me that you love it, because I know how you feel for the first 5-10 minutes. And also, I didn't start off like this where I used to exercise all the time. PE was my worst subject. I hated sport. I hated PE. I hated the social interaction with other people. I hated all that. And over time, I got hooked into other areas. So hopefully, we can find what works best for you, because we've been through it ourselves of being out of exercise and then getting into exercise and finding a routine that keeps you locked in for life.
Yeah, so 2 to 4, going back to the point, is execution. Just doing it, as Nike would say, or Nike. Just do it. So that hopefully... Amen. So that hopefully, and this tends to be what happens, by the end of week 4, you're starting to see some results.
Yeah.
Whether that's feeling better, whether that is that, oh, actually, I did that walk today and I didn't even have that mind talk with myself. I just did it because it was on my plan. It was just there. I had exactly the same thing. You know, I've been putting off doing a strength and conditioning program for weeks and months because of all the excuses. And then I started at the start of the year. First two weeks was, oh, do I have to do this? And then suddenly week 4, oh, do you know what? I feel so much better. I really want to do this now. And I still don't want to do each workout, but I want to keep the habit. So then by weeks 4 to 6, it is then building on what you've already done. So you've gone from your low-hanging fruit to your execution phase to that 4 to 6, where, do you know what? Actually, I might check in again with my trainer and see how I can up the intensity on these levels, because I'm feeling really good, and this is where that communication is key. Yeah. Or, do you know what? I cut my coffee down to 50%. That feels all right. I might cut it down to 50% again. If that makes me feel better in myself, I'm going to stick with that. If it doesn't, fine. No one's, this isn't, you're holding me, no one's going to, well, you know what I'm trying to say.
No, I don't.
Oh, am I fluffing again?
Yeah.
Okay. You finished my words then.
We're into salt and pepper time now. Salt and pepper. It's time to push it. Yeah? Week 4. So week 4 to 6 is when your body is starting to see and feel the changes from your program.
Do you know what it is? This is when weeks 4 to 6 in my Pilates programs, I look up at my ladies and I'm just like, oh, they're going to hate me if I make them do all these push-ups. And so then I kind of maybe give them some options.
Yeah. I know. So they.
But he wouldn't.
No. Would I?
It depends. It depends who it is. Sometimes you can take pity on someone.
I would judge how somebody feels in the day. If they've had a stressful time at work and they're not feeling up for it, then absolutely no way. But their body is. If they've been doing the sessions for the last 3 to 4 weeks.
They are ready for it.
And they're ready. This is the point where now it's about having that
soft
and pepper. No, you're not soft. You're hard on yourself. Salt and pepper moment. We've got to push it, but also have belief in yourself that things have changed.
Things can only get better.
A client who I won't talk about, who was in week 5, 6 of her program, had completed a program which she couldn't do start. And it was incredible, and she didn't think it was that impressive. And when we did, Karen said, "How good is this?" That's amazing. She's finished this program because she's adapted over the last 4 to 5 weeks. It was week 6.
Someone that I've been training since the start of the year, twice a week.
Yeah,
Lorraine, I knew you were still.
Yeah, and what's important to know is that your body has adapted. Something's changed, and it's time to use that change for something.
And here's the key: you might not notice actually. And this is where, coming back to the original point, writing it down is so important. So, I will have I can't see, I haven't got one in front of me now. I will have my program written down. Like, this is an example. This is actually my Move and Tone program from this morning. Lorraine, you've got that coming up on Catch Up. It's quite bouncy. And what I will do with my program, and I'll get all my clients to do, if it's a program like this, if 8 reps 1 week, okay, next week, 9. So incrementally, that's something that you can, and actually the visual of just kids, reward charts, you know how it works, right? So you are writing in and stick it on your fridge and add little notches of or things that you've done differently each week so that you see it visually in front of you, so that then actually by weeks 5 and 6 you're not thinking, oh, do you know what, I'm not sure this is any point of this. You can look back and think, oh, actually, look how far I've come.
I think you're right there, because people miss the windows of reward.
Did you just say I was right?
But you're always right.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. People miss the windows of reward where they think that they haven't felt and noticed the difference in their body because they haven't pushed it to know that it can do more.
Push it.
So let's stay with push-up, because they've been the theme of the comments. If you could do 1 push-up week 1, by week 6 you're looking to do maybe 2 to 3, but the third won't feel like this. It's going to be max effort, but the difference is you can do
and you're still in your head thinking, oh, that's 8. Should I have done 9?
but the important thing to know is that you could push and there was something there. Whereas week 1, if you pushed,
you didn't even have any shoulders. You couldn't even do one because everything was in the wrong place.
Yeah.
But now, and this is the key, you can feel the right bits working.
Yeah.
So, in summary, for the 6 weeks, write it down. This is why we said if you write it down, you're far more likely to stick with it. And I'm feeling Tracy's eyes rolling because I know she's just, I don't need to write it down.
Yeah, but I think we've tapped into something, and Tracy's a really good example for most people to understand that when I say to the audience, people out there, you don't have to love exercise to get into exercise. You don't have to. It's a myth. You don't have to wake up and think, it's time to get running. No, you don't. You don't at all. What's important to know is you break the goal down, find a way to overcome the barrier obstacle that's holding you back, and then just try to sort of just take one step at a time, and then you put it together in a program that we've talked about in here, and then it builds over a few weeks, and then you got 4 weeks, and then 6 weeks, and then this is the last stage. You look back at your nice little chart.
Looking back on the
This is the
things
best bit.
I've done.
So you're looking back over that chart, and you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, and look at all the dots or whatever you're using for your colour coordinated diary and chart, and say to yourself, I have done, whether it's 30 or whether it's 36 workouts, and that's the reward time. Whatever the reward was.
Well, the reward is you get a week of plateau. You don't have to do anything, do you, really, for a week?
Well, you still got to train.
Yeah, I know, but as in you don't have to necessarily progress for a week. But that's
No, you can't.
fodder for another time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
5 things. Number 1 is low-hanging fruit.
Split them into behavioural. Yeah.
Yeah, all right, okay.
Oh no, I'm telling everybody else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Number 1, low-hanging fruit, whether
Yeah.
that's behavioural or whether that's an end goal. Okay,
That's
what's
it,
the
there you
thing that you can achieve first?
Yeah.
Number 2 is overcoming obstacles. So how can you overcome what your barrier is and make it happen? Which then leads to number 3, which is weeks 2 to 4, which is your execution phase. I think we need a better word for that because it's just execute.
No,
execute.
It is.
Then we get to
Daleks.
Then we get to
Exterminate them.
weeks 4 to 6, which is just salt and pepper. Push it.
It is.
So you're pushing it on.
Yeah.
And number 5 is reflect and reward, which is where it's almost like we planned this, isn't it?
It's almost as if we do this for a job, isn't it?
I know.
If,
reflect and reward, so you can look back. You've charted your progress, and you can reflect on it and see how far you've come.
Yeah.
Another song there.
I know.
Another song.
But motivation is overrated, is a thing. So but on a
So
serious note,
this is motivation. This is how you do your motivation.
Yeah.
You get a book and you write it down.
Yeah.
You can get a nice pencil. You can get a nice cup of tea, or
Yeah.
not coffee. Not for
Helen.
was it Helen Jane? Helen Jane. Yeah, not coffee. Nice decaf for you there, or a nice dilute squash. Pencil, paper. Crack on.
Yeah.
So we're going to finish there. Mainly because we need to get Isaac a snack and get him to tennis, but also because I think we've neatly wrapped it up.
I think it is, yeah.
And we are going to send this onto our grid so that you can see this after. We'll share it onto YouTube and we'll send it to our email list on Friday as well. So if you're not on our email list, by the way, ping us a DM. We'll tell you how to get onto it. Or there should be a link in our bio, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
Whether it's there or something else. But yeah, and it's all on our website. If you go to fit-school.co.uk, scroll down to the bottom, click to our email list. And
Did we talk about automating? That's different, isn't it? So
we're not going to go into automations tonight.
No. But well, the point was that it was the habits become normalised.
Yes.
And if you repeat this for long enough, you just don't.
And you just think, oh, it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday time.
It's time to do this.
Yeah, that's what you do. I mean, you now have these slots, and it's like a machine. Karen's like a machine. She says, "Whoops, it's Wednesday at 10:45. It's time to do And it's important to know that she's now removed those obstacles from her behaviour and habits.
Do you know, one of mine is I don't want to get hot and sweaty again. So I finished my hot and sweaty class, and I'm like, right, now I'm going to do my squats and whatever I need to do.
Yeah.
Then I'll go and have a shower, rather than having to get changed and it's a pain. So I'd just rather get it all done while I'm hot and sweaty, and then move on. And then I can take my leggings off and put some nice clothes on.
Yeah.
I don't like having to in and out. Anyway, that's one of my barriers, and I know what I'm like. So that is me.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining. It's been lovely that'll be my pencil lead. It's been lovely to have you this afternoon, and as ever, any questions, ping them to us. We are here. Well, I'm here more than him, but I'll prod him if you need him to answer, and hopefully get him to respond. Okay?
Yeah.
We're good? Have a happy rest of Wednesday. Bye.
Bye-bye.